Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Shahid Haq. I am from 82 Petroleum, UET obviously. Reason I am making this video clip is I follow the SPE UET Facebook website, and I guess every Wednesday there is one field fact that comes out, and that information is excellent. I learn a lot. There was one that came out yesterday about Tando Alam, and the week before, last Wednesday, was, I'm sure you saw this field fact, which was about Shaheen Field. I know a little bit about Shaheen Field. I had the privilege to work not directly on the field, but very close on the data set, and I know a little bit about it. So when I read this information, which says that the discovery was made in 1992, production started in 1994, the field has a partner, Total is a partner, Qatar Petroleum is a partner, and then it mentions the current production of 270,000 barrels per day, and the location up north of Qatar. Good information, but somehow by looking at the information, I could not relate to the field that I know, and it was not fulfilling my curiosity. The information is not telling me, so what is special about the field? Okay, you are giving me a data. The field was discovered in 1992. So what? The field started production in 1994. So what? And the field has a daily production of about 270,000 barrels of oil per day. Now, that is substantial amount of production. If we compare it with Pakistan production, we are this is 3 times more than our daily oil production. So yes, production makes sense, but still it is not giving me, it doesn't provoke a thought process in me to say I should learn more about the field, because there is something to learn from the field. So I went to public data, and the best public data that we have comes from SPE. So I went to the SPE website, and I typed Shaheen Qatar, and there were 153 publications. They were listed. So what you see here in these 4 pages is a list of those 153 pages, and you will see the green color. There are 40 papers, which when I read the title and the subject, I thought these papers are worth reading. There is a lot of information in it. It's not just data, the information, and actually the information has moved up the ladder, and it is coming out as knowledge. So there's a lot of knowledge sharing that is in those 40 papers. And the whole sense of learning through these publications or data is, knowledge is, to know what happened with the field. This is a field that is on production for the last 24 plus years. So what, as a field development, how is it has gone through its infancy phases to its adulthood? Has it reached its late age? What do we see in this one? And what I realized when I was going through it is one paper in particular. This is a 2010 paper. SPE number is 138301. That's the paper number, 138301. The title of the paper is Pushing the Limits for Field Development. So this is published in 2010, which means the operator already has about 16 plus years of production history. Learning is there. So the first thing they talk about, and a lot of other publications also mention the same thing, that although the field was discovered in 1992, but it was drilled, the wildcat and the drill stem tests were done on the wells in 1971 and 72, early 70s. So early 70s, in these wells, these are slightly offshore, shallow water, 100 to 300 feet of water depth. Shell went and drilled these vertical wells. and they tested those wells, and guess what? The wells were producing or tested at about 100 barrels of oil per day. And it was realized in the early 70s it is not commercial. It's not a very big pay that we see. The environment was considered tight. Permeability was 10 million RC or lower. So well deliverability was not such that it was worth investing into. Shell walked away. Then it was with Qatar Petroleum for some time. It was QGPC at that time. And eventually Maersk Oil Company that is known in the Denmark area as a Danish company, their expertise was to drill long horizontal well and produce from tight rocks. So they came in and they looked at it, evaluated the data, and eventually they took over the field in 1992, 3, 4 time period. And that is where they started to drill these long horizontal wells, and the production that they got, the average production from each lateral that they drilled was about 5,000 barrels per day compared to 100 barrels per day that Shell got from vertical wells. So now was the game changer. They came up with a different methodology. They peaked the production at about 400,000 barrels of oil per day, and currently, as the data is saying, it is about 250,000 barrels of oil per day. Now, there are, again, there's paper number 138301. I strongly invite you to come and read this paper, download it, read it. It talks about plenty of information in a very nice way. You may not be able to see what the top graph is showing. There are some blue curves, blue lines over there. These are all platforms. Each platform has wells going out like a star pattern. And these long horizontal wells, now how long is long? These are ERD wells. And actually, let me share with you another figure that they have presented over there, which is where the thing started to change from the game changer perspective. So what you see here, apologies, it's a little bit windy here. What you are looking at is true vertical depth along the horizontal depth, right? The step out depth. Sweet spot normally for ERD wells is when the true vertical depth is about 5,000 feet to 10,000 feet, and the step out depth is somewhere between 2 times to 3 times. But these wells which were drilled, they were shallow, 1,000 meters, 3,000 plus feet of TVD, so not too deep wells, and the step out is 10 times more. So they were going 30,000 plus feet long with only 1,000 meters, 3,000 feet of true vertical depth, long wells. And again, as the graphs over here show, and again, I will let you read these papers, but what it talks about, those 40 papers, let me go back to those green papers that I have. The subject they are covering, there are at least 10 publications on field development plan. So field development plan in general will introduce us to the challenges which are there and how those challenges were addressed, lessons learned which are there. There are publications on a lot of logging while drilling. Because of these long horizontal wells, they could not bring in wireline afterward to go and log these wells, so these wells have to be steered. And with steered, they looked at the data and they tried to put that one in. Since the formations are in general tighter, they had to think about how to improve the recovery factor. It is mentioned in the paper, in one of the papers, that the API gravity is varying from 14 API to 38 API at the same TVD, at the same elevation. Such a severe change in oil API changes the viscosity, which changes the mobility of the fluid, and which makes you have to think about your completion design in a very different way. You have to start thinking about how am I going to enhance the recovery. So they talk about injecting water, they talk about VAG, so they are injecting gas and water afterwards. Secondary recovery using surfactants. Pilot projects are there, which are all published over here. Completion designs, very different types of completions are there. How they perforate, different perforation frequencies. How they use the seismic before and during the production, 3D and 4D seismic, to help to see the sweep efficiency. Similarly, how they incorporated geology, from the images, from whatever they were learning. Reservoir characterization publications are there. So essentially, this field, when we learn this field, it has all the challenges that we learn in our silos in books. We talk about geology, we learn about formation evaluation, we learn about reservoir engineering 101, 102, 201, all the others, well testing, permanent gauges, plenty of permanent gauges over there. So data is coming in through these completions, in intelligent completions, and being looked at. And the issue that comes in with so much data is how you analyze the data. So the data analysis challenge and management of data challenge, and converting the data to information, to knowledge, and eventually to wisdom. So all of that is residing in these publications in the field. So what I strongly recommend us to do is, you should read these papers, pick up one field, right? So pick Shaheen Field, read about it, ask questions. Since I have some knowledge about it, I will try and answer those questions through our website that we have. And similarly, any field fact that comes in, Tando Alam for example, anyone who knows first-hand information about the field, I would like someone to step in and say, this is what I have known from the general data which is in the public domain, so that all of us who are students, who are seekers of knowledge, should be given the guideline to why we should learn about it, and we should then learn about it. So with that one, thank you for the time, and I hope I have sown some seeds of curiosity in your mind to go and learn more about Shaheen Field to begin with. But every field has a lot of information. It has a history, it has a present,